Welcome to Ashtags, Practical Principles for Powerful People, Passionate about Purpose. Hello, family. I'm Ashley, and this is Ashtags. I am so glad that you are willing to come back and listen to me talk more about budgeting. That's exciting. And I hope that really, truly, that something I say is going to be a blessing to you in some way. Okay. I am not here to front. Okay. I'm over here trying to get my financial life together on a daily basis. Right. I'm a mom of a family of six. Right. My husband and I work very hard to build a life that makes sense for us, where we can be productive, but we can also be present for our children. I think that's the story of many people here in the United States. I don't know, I understand that some people have kids who are grown, but you have your story too, right? And so I just hope that, that we can grow together, that we can learn how to connect again as people, as how that we can like really have like true community again. That's my prayer for humanity, right? As cliche as that sounds, I'm over here with the peace and the love always, okay? Whether you love it or hate it, here I am, here to share the good news of Jesus Christ and all that comes with it. All right. So we are going to get into a new message today, but we're going to stay on that same vein of budgeting. You better budget, baby. All right. So this section is called I would, but what are those things that are keeping you from doing what you know you need to do, right? So here are some things that people say when you talk to them about budgeting, some things that are holding them back. I would, but I don't know how, which is fair because financial literacy is vague to many and it is not taught in schools, which I don't get, but whatever. And then I would, but I tried before and it didn't work. I tried to budget. My income is always different, or I have so many unexpected expenses. Some of us who are like connected to people overseas, we understand that there are needs that have to be met sometimes. It just is what it is, right? I would, but my income is not the same every month. I understand that for entrepreneurship, and we're going to have a episode dedicated to people who are entrepreneurs who have varying incomes, because I truly believe that like in the Bible days, farmers, that's how they lived. Like they literally lived on their daily bread. They lived to for the they didn't have that security of a salary. They had to literally depend on God. I believe it's a very noble way to live. So I just want to like pause and like take that moment, and we'll do that in an episode on its own. And then we are going to talk about some ways to overcome these I would buts, because the I would buts are getting us nowhere, y'all. Okay. So what is the best way to budget? Everybody has different like solutions for this, but truly the best way to budget is the way that works for you. So we're going to go over a couple of ways that could work for you. So we're going to get the butts out of the way and we're going to get the progress going, moving forward, okay? So first we're going to start with the 50-30-20 rule. And I'm gonna always put my little spin on it. I do the 50-30 10-10, or you could call it the 10-50-30-10, but we're gonna get into it. So we're gonna do 50% for our needs. That's housing, groceries, and utilities. Yes, I know that new 5-bedroom house looks phenomenal, and you can get approved for the loan. But if your mortgage is swallowing up all your other expense, all your money, all your hard-earned money, what you gonna do after the money is gone? Especially we know how the groceries are set up right now. We just want to we just want to get to a place where our housing and our groceries, our bills are like half of our income. And you guys know what? Some of the best advice I ever got when it comes to this was not to worry so much about the money going out, but spend your time, your energy, your focus, your thoughts on ways to get the money up. When I heard that, that blew my mind, it changed my whole mindset. Because trust me, there are ways to get the money up. right? But if you're so worried on, oh, I spent an extra $10. No, 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 no. There are other ways. Okay, so but here, a good rule of thumb for this one, 50% for your needs. Now I'm going on tangents, so bear with me. 30% for your wants. You like nice things. You like to floss at times, and that's okay. But just keep it at that 30%. 20%, I do that, 10% is that standard for giving, but you can always do more. You can take some from those wants and give, right? But 20% standard for giving, savings, and debt repayment. Now, we talked about clearing high interest debt, and if you're not part of the Wise and Thriving newsletter, then what are you even doing? Because you're getting stuff in that newsletter that you're not getting in these videos. Okay? We talked about the clearing high interest debt last week in the Wise and Thriving newsletter. So if that high interest debt is getting a little higher than you're comfortable with, you might want to cut into that wants section for the debt repayment. The principle of this rule, no matter how you're going to rearrange those percentages, is that I would say those needs, keep them at 50%, but the rest of it, you can be creative with that. If you need to put more towards your debt repayment, then do that. If you need to cut back on the entertainment and the dining out, that is something. When last 6 years of being a stay-at-home mom / solopreneur, that is the thing that had to just go. Like, it just wasn't. We eating at the house because that's what we have money for. You understand? And then you always want to give, you want to have savings, and then you want to do the debt repayment. Hope I'm making sense. So that's the 50-30-20 rule, and it can be adjusted as you need. The next one is going to be called zero-based budgeting. So every dollar is assigned a purpose, and income minus expenses equals zero. You can do this when you have steady stream of income from month to month. I know I'm making exactly X amount of dollars this month, and I'm going to assign every dollar to something. That's not to say you can assign it to, a percentage to your splurging or your spending. You can assign a percentage to your savings. You can assign a percentage to your giving. Just at the end of it, you know that every single dollar has a place. I like this because it's just healing. It's like perfect zero. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not that you haven't saved. It's not that you don't have some put aside for when you want to, step out or whatever. It's that every dollar has a purpose, right? Next, we're going to go into the envelope system, and this is for cash spending, and it's allocating money to different categories using physical envelopes to prevent overspending. So you get paid, you're taking out that money in cash, and that already makes me nervous, but if this is for you, then hey, who am I to judge? And then you are getting envelopes, and you will write groceries on this envelope, and you put your money in that envelope. And then you will write utilities and mortgage in that envelope, and you put it there. And then you will write lunch money there. Bow. And then you do that for all the different envelopes. And let's say you have your grocery envelope and you're spending it and you're spending it, and then you need some milk and some eggs, and you look in there and there's no money. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to go without milk and eggs. Oh, I don't know about this kind of hard life, but you know something? If it's necessary for you to reach the financial goals that you have, fine. Fine. Just do it. Okay. Then also the next one is going to be called tracking and adjusting, right? You're going to regularly monitor your budget to see if adjustments are needed based on changes in income or expenses. Your income may change and your expenses may change. When you have young children, you know this. You know they're always raising the price of the different care that you need. You know that they have needs at school, right? You know that that income changes sometimes. We know what it is to be laid off or have periods where you don't have regular income, and you need to adjust. You have, this tracking and adjusting, it takes a very close eye, but it definitely can be done, right? And it really takes you being very committed, and it takes you being very committed to meeting your financial goals. Excuse me here. And then the use of budgeting tools, right? You can use apps like Mint. I love a good app, that you can just, that's just handy for you to use. YNAB, you need a budget. And I want to just note that I have not used personally either of these. These are just some chat GPT suggestions, okay? Or you can use a spreadsheet to keep track of income, expenses, and goals. And wouldn't you know, I have one available for you. Wouldn't you know that I have that monthly budget tracker in your financial stewardship package, and that can be found at resources.wiseandthriving.com. Next, we're going to go into the baseline budget model. So you set a baseline, you build your budget based on the lowest monthly income you expect to earn. This ensures that even in the lean months, you can cover essential expenses. So you're going to add up, if all I needed was my mortgage, my utilities, my groceries, basic money, groceries and water for this month, what is that number? And you set that as your budget, and then anything else, anything excess, you can decide throughout the month what you're going to do with it. My personal opinion, I feel like you're gonna end up balling out doing stuff that you're not supposed to be doing with that money. Okay, so this one I have learned from experience is not exactly the best way if you have like debt repayment or if you need to save for something substantial in the future. This one is kind of like that. It's like that bare minimum model, and we don't want to live a bare minimum life. Like at least not the people who gather here on hashtags. Like correct me if I'm wrong, right? And so in the baseline budget, you list your priority expenses, only those necessary costs like rent, mortgage, utilities, groceries, and debt payments in this baseline budget. Okay, so next week, we are going to go over budgeting techniques for when your income varies from month to month. I think this is important, and I've told you why. I believe in entrepreneurship, and I think it's a beautiful thing. I think sometimes it's the only option for some of us, especially when you're a caregiver and you have different things and you have different responsibilities. And I think that, there are so many avenues, so many opportunities out there. And so, yeah, this isn't that the kind of opportunity economy we want to live in, where we can actually, flourish, growing our own. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Hashtags, and I really um pray for you, for your family, for everyone who is connected to you, that the grace of God will be upon you, that the Spirit of God will lead you into all righteousness and truth. And I love you, and I mean that thing. And I will see you next week. Now, if you like what you heard here today, let's go ahead and make this relationship official. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next week.